They're the largest warships in the world, floating air bases carrying the world's most advanced aircraft. But what's the real status of the world's carrier fleet today? In this series of videos, we're looking at the heart of naval power, the aircraft carrier. Their combination of modern, evolving aircraft and drones means they bring firepower to wherever they are needed in the world. Next up is USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, CVN 69, affectionately known as Ike. Ike followed Nimitz off the Newport News production line. Her keel was laid down on August 15, 1970, and commissioned on October 18, 1977. In 1979, Ike made her first Mediterranean cruise, quickly finding herself in the center of a brewing storm, the Iranian hostage crisis. The carrier sped across the Indian Ocean as part of America's pressure campaign. She stayed in the region for months, reminding Tehran that help was never far away. A few years later, Eisenhower played a key role in supporting U.S. interests during the 1982 Lebanese Civil War. Her aircraft provided surveillance and potential air cover for U.S. Marines on the ground in Beirut. It was a kind of volatile, high-stakes deployment that would become her trademark. When Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait in 1990, Ike was one of the first on the scene. Whilst not launching strikes during the initial Desert Storm campaign, she was integral in the lead-up and immediate aftermath. Her air wing helped enforce the no-fly zones over Iraq in Operation Southern Watch and Vigilant Warrior. Day after day, Ike's jets screamed over the desert, maintaining the fragile peace from above. A veteran of countless deployments, Ike completed her own refueling and complex overhaul between 2001 and 2005, a process lasting roughly 4 years. In 2007, she supported operations off Somalia, then performed exercises off the Iranian coast. In 2009, Eisenhower assisted anti-piracy operations off Somalia again, providing surveillance and strike capability against pirate havens along the coast. The 2010s saw Ike grinding through deployment after deployment. She supported operations against ISIS in Iraq and Syria. Her jets flew hundreds of missions, including close air support for Iraqi troops fighting to liberate cities like Mosul and Fallujah. Her crews often spoke of brutal deployment tempos. She had back-to-back deployments in 2012 and 2013. By 2016, Ike was back in action to fight against ISIS again, with nearly 2,000 sorties being flown during that cruise alone. Not just as a warship, Ike made history by integrating female crew members in the 1990s, one of the first carriers to do so. She received multiple Battle E awards, recognizing excellence in combat readiness, and like her namesake, she's a master of coalition building, often conducting exercises with NATO and allied forces from India and France. In 2020, Ike, along with his guided missile cruiser USS San Jacinto, set a modern US Navy record for the most consecutive days underway, reaching 161 days. This was primarily a measure taken to reduce the crew's potential exposure to COVID-19. This record was later extended to 206 days. Ike's recent history has also been particularly intense. She deployed in October 2023 in response to the Israel-Hamas war. Ike and his strike group made best speed across the Atlantic and spent nearly 7 months operating in the US Fifth Fleet, primarily in the Red Sea. There, she served as the cornerstone of Operation Prosperity Guardian, defending international shipping lanes against Houthi attacks launched from Yemen. After this demanding 9-month deployment, Ike returned to Norfolk on July 14, 2024. The operational tempo clearly took its toll as she transitioned almost immediately into a maintenance phase. Data over the last 5 years indicate that Ike has been deployed for more days than any other US aircraft carrier, highlighting her significant operational tempo and importance to the Navy's global presence. On January 8, 2025, Ike moved from Naval Station Norfolk to nearby Norfolk Naval Shipyard to begin a scheduled planned incremental availability refit. As of late April 2025, she remains at Norfolk undergoing this maintenance. The exact duration hasn't been announced, but Ike has experienced significant maintenance overruns in the past. A previous PIA tripled its expected length, highlighting potential challenges at the shipyard. This cycle, an intense deployment followed immediately by major maintenance, underscores the strain on the carrier fleet and the critical importance of efficient shipyard periods. Any delays in Ike's current PIA could impact her future availability and place further stress on the rest of the fleet. Originally expected to be decommissioned around 2027 or 2028, Ike's service life has been extended. She now expects to remain in service well into the 2030s. This makes her a critical bridge asset for the Navy. Her extension helps compensate for delays in the Ford-class program, specifically USS Enterprise CVN-80, which is slated to replace her. USS Enterprise is the third Ford-class carrier and even incorporates recycled steel and historic portholes from her predecessors. Her keel was laid down ahead of schedule on April 5, 2022. She is the first US carrier designed and built entirely using digital platforms. Originally scheduled for March 2028, Navy testimony in April 2025 suggested the delay might be closer to 28 months, potentially pushing delivery into early 2030. Ike will soldier on in the meantime. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the history of USS Dwight D. Eisenhower. Please subscribe to join me on the next video in the series, USS Carl Vinson. Until then, thanks for watching.